This morning's tactical enhancement is a cappuccino. We're playing Warhammer, the old world, 2,000 points. Might generously be called another learning exercise.
Yes.
And today I've brought Dark Elves against Sean again with Orcs and Goblins, but configured differently this time. Talk us through what you've got.
Okay, so we've got some Arab boys, light armor shield, full command. 36 goblins with light armor shield. 3 regular goblin chariots. We got a goblin wizard on a large chariot, which I just made last night. There was a bit of work in that actually. 2 snotling pump wagons to see how they go. I got 7 boar boys with a big boss, black orc. No, a big boss, not a black orc. And he's just got heavy armor shield, and they've got heavy armor shield and cavalry lances. Paw, my general, is a black orc. He's got trollhide.
This mad boy.
Yeah, he's trollhide trousers, choppiest chopper.
Trollhide trousers.
Gives him +1 armor, and he's armor 2+ with a regen on 3.
So he's armoured in the nads, right?
Yes. And then you got black orcs with a full command. I've gone plate armor shields and 2 guys with big great weapons, just to do something different. 3 bolt throwers, 9 goblin wolf riders with light armor shields, and I've got a lord level goblin.
Good God, really?
Yes, actually, we don't stuff around here, folks. With a cavalry spear, hand weapon, shield, light armor.
Okay.
So he's actually got 3 wounds, weapon skill 5, 4 attacks. So he's actually an experiment. I'm looking at seeing what I can do with him. So he's actually, that unit can be either open order in ranks, or it could be skirmish.
Okay.
It's what I call sweep unit in skirmish formation. You can put it at the back and use it to fend off annoying flyers, which you don't have any, so it'll be doing. I'll find another role for it, like hunting down your bolt throwers.
Yeah, I'll go for the bolt throwers.
Now remember,
they might have a hard time.
Yeah, they don't get the -1 for being skirmishing to hit, because they're unit strength 2 each. So only unit
I look
strength
forward to
1.
shooting at them.
Yeah, if you're shooting.
Okay. Now,
right, show us what you got, boy.
Alrighty. So what we've got over here, I came up with a couple of different lists and decided to do something a bit different, which is kind of funny because Sean's now gone and done something a bit different. What have we got? We have level 4 mage. There she is, running around in a chainmail bikini, as they do.
Excellent.
Then we've got a standard bearer who has got full plate, I think. You can see a little bit of that full plate. I think it's just on the arm there, just the one arm. Come on, get into focus, you fucking thing. There it is. Anyway, as for the rest of the army, we have Witch Elves, 24 of the lovely ladies. We've got a block of 23 Corsairs, a block of 24 Corsairs. I've gone light on characters today, I normally take more. 2 units of 5 Dark Riders, fast cav with shields, repeat crossbow and spear. All the Corsairs are packing 2 hand weapons. Got 2 repeat bolt throwers. These little squares here are the size of the base the repeat bolt thrower is supposed to be on, not counting the crew, but I cannot be asked rebasing them. And I thought I'd get the Hydras out. I haven't used the Hydras in ages because people were just finding it too easy to bash them up in 8th edition. So I thought I'd see how they go in the old world, see if they're worth bringing back to the fray. And that's 2,000 points apiece. So what we'll do now is we will hock a dice to deploy, and then we'll show you what our deployment looks like. Right, deployment is complete, and it's a big Dark Elf army because I haven't taken much in the way of characters. There's no dragon, for example, so I have less units still than the Orcs and Goblins, so they had an advantage. I did get a +1 for the roll-off to go first, but well, Sean rolled crap anyway. So I've got a solid line supported by monster, because monsters and rank and file are a good combo if you actually want to win a fight. With some bolt throwers to do their thing. I've actually done the Vanguard move over here to redeploy from the edge there to run between the woods. They're in skirmish formation. Bases are a bit small because I'm still waiting for new bases to come along. They're ordered and pending. And we brought Vanguard up here. I still can't charge anything on the first turn though. After Vanguard, everything's too far away. Now I've got stuff coming around this building here, which may or may not be a good idea. It seemed tactical at the time, but then again, I spent half my time playing games with tanks, so it might not be smart. And as for the Orcs and Gobs, they've just plonked the full weight of shit directly opposite my army with a whole lot of fast movement and stuff on the flank here. And there is a lord in that lot, which is going to be a bit of a problem.
It's a goblin lord, it's not a problem.
Well, is that the one with Wallopers one hit wonder?
Only one round.
Yeah, only once. Just enough to kill the other guy.
Yes.
So I'm going first. What we'll do is check in at the end of Dark Elf turn 1 and see if we manage to do anything intelligent. End of Dark Elf turn 1. So we did a couple of clever things. We put +1 toughness using an enchantment on that Hydra because it's probably going to shoot out with the bolt throwers. Then we used the demonic steed spell because we have demonology to move this slot from behind that building because I had a plan to flank around and try and get some flanking action going on, but it's just not going to happen with that amount of crap sitting right there where I would have been flanking. So I thought I'm going to get these guys to rejoin the line, and the other Hydra was quick enough that it managed to keep up, more or less, and we've advanced the line as quick as we can. One bolt thrower did a single bolt into the... I'm going to be careful how I film because Sean's package was right behind it, but right into those...
Boar boys.
Boar boys, that's right. And we killed 2, skewered them, and the others backed off a little on the panic test. The other one, we took a shot at the general. I wasn't expecting a lot, but we did actually manage to wound him, but he got his armor off on a 6. Beyond that, we kept those cavalry still to shoot. They didn't do much, and we moved up these guys into a more advantageous position to shoot, and they didn't do much. The drama I've got was, aside from the chariots, those boar boys are a bit of a risk, and there's a freaking lord in there. So if I move up with these Dark Riders, I'm going to be outmaneuvered, charged by skirmishers, fucked up in the melee very, very badly. It's a bad day waiting to happen. So I've got to be a bit careful with them at the moment. So not a bad start, but at this point we are over to Orcs and Goblins turn 1. Right, Orcs and Goblins turn 1. We're getting into it pretty quick today. Just have a look at that line coming together over there. Couple of rude surprises, but more to do with the dice. Let's see, these guys came galloping out. Doesn't that look fantastic? Fucking horde of little skirmishing bastards. These boar riders came back for another go. That managed to get through the woods carrying its pillar with it without destroying itself. This one ran right forward into the line. Its survivability is not great, but then it threw a whole lot of garbage, like little bits of tin, at the witch elves and killed one. Oh, I tried to do something clever over here. He charged 2 wolf chariots at my Dark Riders. So I thought, I'll fire and flee. And they got swift stride. I actually did really well in the shooting. I took out a goblin chariot, but then I rolled nothing but 1s and 2s on 3 dice. And Sean rolled up, because he had a plus D3, to his charge range, and he got a 3 for that, and he did a 6 for his basic move. And he caught them by 1 inch and cleaned them all up. And he's reformed, ready to barrel into my flank. The Wyvern chap's come along and he's manoeuvred to get into a flank. That chariot that's the one that didn't get anywhere because no, sorry, that's the character. He's moved up to countercharge. Now, as for the shooting, the bolt throwers all missed my Hydras, which is good. They're all shooting at that guy because last turn I had buffed toughness on this guy. On the other hand, this lot, they're in all these ranks deep, right? So they volley shot. So he misses out on 8 shots out of that massive block of 25, which actually isn't too bad when you think about it. Putting archers in the big blocks. I never bothered to do it before, but it's not a bad idea. Just thinking ahead to my wood elves. And he bumped off some more of the witch elves who are, scarping about wearing nothing but their nylons and maybe the occasional, aluminium tassel. So yeah, that took a few casualties. That hurt a little bit. Otherwise, we are actually in a pretty good position. A lot's going to come down to the dice as to how well turn 2 works, but we're going into turn 2 for the Dark Elves. Alright, well, it's only the end of Dark Elf turn 2, and it's already a bit of a bloodbath, and shit's moving all over the place. Okay, so what we did was we charged in over here against this unit of gobbos, and this pump wagon, because it's the only thing I really could do about it. We also sent things to charge against the Black Orcs. I sent these guys and this Hydra. Now what ended up happening, and we cast some magic as well. I think I buffed the toughness on the Witch Elves. Did I take any casualties on the Witch Elves?
I killed 1 with a champion.
Yeah, we forgot to take into account the +1 toughness, but too bad. Shit happens.
No, I rolled a 5. Would have wounded.
Alright.
Would have wounded.
Then we did some shooting, and it turns out conveyance really only works on infantry, because I was hoping to use that spell to move the Hydra into combat against the Black Orcs. So I ended up declaring the charge anyway and trying to get the Hydra and these guys into the Black Orcs. We didn't make the distance, but they found their terror test and scarpered backwards. So I redirected the charge of the Hydra into this dragon, Wyvern I mean. It wasn't a great idea, but I had nothing better to do. And I redirected the charge of the Corsairs into those goblins. So those goblins got a pile of Witch Elves, Corsairs on the corner, and a Hydra barreled into them. Killed quite a few. They rolled really low on their leadership though, below their base level leadership, and they fell back in good order.
Because you didn't outnumber me 2 to 1.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys in there. We outnumbered them, just not 2 to 1. Over here, of course, we hit the pump wagon and it fled, and we chased after it, but we didn't quite catch it. As for the shooting, we put 2 big bolts into those orc boys. Killed
nice.
3 of them, which was nice, but they didn't flee, which I suppose was a bit much to ask after they took off last turn. But and we shot a whole lot of repeat bolt thrower at these wolf riders and didn't kill a thing. In the melee with the Hydra against the Wyvern, he made his saves actually, but 2+ armor, you kind of expect a few of those. Whereas I failed all of my saves and took 2 wounds. It could have been worse. Could have been better. Could have been worse. Shit happens. We will suck that one up. Now we are into the Orc and Goblin turn 2, and something of mine will die. I think that's the short answer here. Something of mine is going to die shortly.
Yes, rather.
Either the bolt thrower or those cavalry. Over here, on the other hand, I think this unit of Corsairs is in for a very, very bad day. Oh yeah, my mage is flapping around in the breeze here by herself because we ran up, did the kills, did the charges, and I moved up to follow because I didn't want to put her in the melee. Then of course they all crashed through and kept going. I hadn't thought that through, had I? So she's running around by a lonesome in the middle of nowhere. Fortunately, she's a long way from anything that might charge her. Alright, on that note, we'll move into Orc and Goblin turn 2 and check in after that. It is the end of turn 2, it's only turn 2, believe it or not, Orcs and Goblins. This lot barreled into the bolt thrower, and the hero slaughtered the 2 crew outright, showing the lads how it's done. That chariot tried to charge these guys, but he decided to stand and shoot because if I rolled ratchet again it would catch me and kill me, but then he rolled really terribly for distance and our shooting didn't do anything either. Over here, wow, he tried Itchy Nuisance on, what was it, that Hydra?
And they try to give the AP, plus 1 AP and stuff.
Yeah, I managed to dispel both. This was the beginning of Sean's terrible dice rolls this turn.
No.
He moved these ball boys around. Now there was a goblin chariot as well as the mage's chariot. They did nothing to this Hydra, and the Hydra polished off a goblin chariot, and I think it took a wound off of the mage's chariot.
Took 2 wounds off.
Yeah, that's not going well for the mage.
That's fine.
Over here, this guy barreled in, and look, he won by a significant margin, but the dice rolls were nowhere near as serious as they could have been.
No, you killed 3. You didn't do much.
No, you didn't do much. I did nothing in return.
You almost fled, but you had to re-roll with your battle standard bearer.
Yeah, well, we passed. We fell back a little way. Black Orcs rallied. We just kept crashing through with the goblins. Although the interesting thing is, because the general's right next to them, even though I'm smashing them, I think I did like 12 kills to nothing in return. They fell back in good order because the general's right next to them, and the leadership.
And you don't outnumber me.
That's right. I don't quite outnumber him.
No,
if I do it again, as Sean pointed out, then I'll chase them off. And over here, they charged in with the Orc Arrow Boys and Snotling Pump Wagon, which actually killed a couple of guys. And it was a dead heat. A few casualties on each side. I do have to do a few things in order to stop myself having a problem. For example, these guys can still disrupt and do a lot of damage. These guys will do a lot of damage to something, and I don't really... Oh, let's face it, they're going to kill the bolt thrower. That's what's going to happen. Unless they go for that instead. Yeah, so it's looking okay, but really because Sean's dice rolls are crap, he could have done better. I could have done worse.
It's fine. It's what it is.
Most of what you're doing makes perfect sense. It's the only thing that didn't. I thought this would smash the Hydra, but there wasn't as big a hit as I thought it was.
Itchy Nuisance, and you would have taken a lot more wounds.
Yeah.
But I roll.
How much does that reduce your toughness by?
Die 3.
Ooh, yeah, that could have made a difference.
So you would have, if you're on toughness 2, it's almost all the wounds, and then.
So there's actually a 55% chance that would work.
Your mage, no, it's your mage stopped it.
Yeah. Cause
if had your mage not stopped that Itchy Nuisance, there's a good chance either your Hydra would be dead.
Yep. Or smashed and falling back, and
we got 2 less attacks now, so.
Yeah, and any attacks, any wounds you did on the charge is less attacks, so you probably would have had another chariot there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a bloodbath. The casualties are piling up. We will check in at the end of Dark Elf turn 3. End of turn 3 Dark Elves. It's only turn 3 and the carnage is immense. These guys charged the Goblin Chariot over on this flank. Smashed it. No, we didn't smash. Well, we did damage it, but it fled. Fled through the woods, managed not to kill itself in the process, and we fell just short of hitting the bolt thrower. We crashed through the remains of those goblins, chased them off, and the bolt thrower that was next to them fled. He panicked and ran off the board. We were going to try and hit it with the Hydra, which did have enough movement to do it, but it still didn't. Well, it had nothing to catch in the end. We continued this fight going here and lost. Moved back 2 inches. It's remarkable dice rolls there. I can't complain. Sean's had a shocker of a day. And that guy finished. God, mosquitoes are doing more damage than dice at the moment. This guy polished off the last unit of Corsairs. It mauled them quite badly, and then I rolled 11 twice on morale. Then when it came to fleeing, I rolled 4. That was good of them. Oh, and it's panicked that guy who fell back 5 inches in good order. So, turn of mixed results. We got some outcomes we wanted. We're in position for some other good things. Oh, that wyvern's going to cause me some trouble, however. And so those orc boys, we shot at them actually and hit them 3 times, but then we didn't do any bloody damage. Their armor worked a treat. Right, so over to Orcs and Goblins turn 3. They may yet turn this back around again. End of Orcs and Goblins turn 3, and my have the tables turned. Right, so previously we had repositioned these guys. Couple of bolt throwers. There's one. Hot shots at that Hydra and fortunately missed. But in this big stack up in the middle, they smashed the unit with the standard bearer and the mage and just piled on the dice, which I suppose they should have, because these orc chaps got in the flank, the wyvern got in the flank. Total massacre, and what was left fled. Interesting how that came about, because really the only reason that unit was in such a shocking position was because it had failed to crash through when everything else had crashed through. That wyvern's just making absolute mockery out of my line. It's crashed through 2 major units so far, although with assistance. Starting to wish I'd taken a fucking dragon. Over here we've got an interesting situation in that the Wolf Riders charged into the horse. They stood and shot. They collected 1. Now, only half of the skirmishing unit was actually able to reach the melee, so we pushed the rest into the back rank. And I was reading the rule as the character can only move its maximum movement, which was not enough to get it into the combat. But it's still part of the unit, so it gets pushed into the back rank. But the make way rule is in a separate phase, and we didn't do it this way. So basically, the Wolf Rider unit lost. But it would seem that the make way rule means even if you did not have sufficient movement to get into melee and you were just pushed into the back rank, you can still make way. So that's something which I might have to try and find a fact just to confirm. But it seems we cheated the Orcs and Goblins a little bit, so they're running away, and we'll charge them in a minute. But an interesting rules thing. So it effectively means that if you're in a skirmishing unit, you can move more than your maximum move and still end up in the fighting rank.
If you're a character.
If you're a character in a skirmishing unit that's spread out. So that's an interesting one. Haven't had to worry about that in a very long time. Anyway, so it's all rather coming down to the wire. We'll go into turn 4 for the Dark Elves and see what we can manage to do. It is the end of Dark Elf turn 4, and might I say it's all turned to shit. We're actually calling it here. So basically what happened is we went to charge that Hydra and the Witch Elves into the Black Orcs. The Hydra was a bit of a long shot, to be honest. I needed probably a 6, maybe a 5, but I didn't get it either way. Witch Elves made it in, did adequately. I underestimated how much armour they had, though. They had plate armour and shield. I didn't even realise Orcs could take plate armour, even though Sean had probably told me at the start of the game. And then they hit back better than I hit them, which is...
No, I hit twice, but you failed your armor set. You hit me 6 times.
Yeah, you had 2 guys hit twice, wounded twice.
And you hit 6 times, and I failed only 2 armor saves.
Yeah, I had 18...
Which is average.
I had 18... Actually, I had 19 dice. I rolled 1 dice too few. Not that I think it's going to make much difference. I want to roll it just to pretend it'd make a difference, but it wouldn't. Anyway, the result was the Witch Elves lost by about 1 or 2 because this unit, being close order and heavy infantry,
had an extra
rank, basically. Then we just totally fucked up the leadership roll. Rolled like an 11 again. This is the 3rd time I rolled 11 for a leadership test. And they broke and fled, and they were caught and killed. So that leaves me with a couple of Hydra. A bolt thrower's not going to be around anymore. We did shoot the bolt thrower at the Ball Boys, didn't do anything. This lot chased the last of the Wolf Riders and the character off the board. But we've decided to call it because all that's going to happen now is the Hydras are going to get slaughtered. And that bolt thrower will die.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say, it was pretty remarkable. We had a good even fight till your dice turned to shit and it all swung wildly my way. Then the dice turned to shit the other direction and it all fucking fell apart for the Dark Elves.
No, I thought I was okay. I never thought there was a problem.
There are.
Because I know what my guys can do, so that's fine.
I seriously thought I should have cracked through this unit, or at least pushed them back.
Well,
didn't happen.
your BSB in combat with my unit champion.
Completely failed to kill him for like 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, because he kept making his 5-up armor save.
Well, that's rather what happened last game, isn't it? He just made lots and lots of sense.
Well, why don't you get something in like with AP -1, like a Sword of Might or something?
Yeah, well, I did have one, but I got rid of the sword off of that character in order to have more stuff in the army overall. Because these 2,000 point games are like, so we used to playing 2,500, and we're playing 2,000 at the moment. Yeah, so now we have to make trade-offs.
What you do, I don't.
What? You get a massive amount of shit in that box there. It's a sort of
the size of this army.
tray of things over there.
Yeah, your army. This is werewolves.
And look, despite the fact that I screwed a couple of things up, and dice, they went both ways. The combo of Hydra plus rank and file infantry does still seem to work, but the fact that it's really hard to crack through anything, even just a bunch of fucking goblins stuck around for turn after turn.
Which is what they were planning. That's what they're designed to do.
Yep.
And they did exactly what's written on the tin can.
Well, that's right. I'm going to get through them eventually with a Hydra and a bunch of Witch Elves. And I think if the Hydra and the Witch Elves had both crashed into the Black Orcs, that would have still done the job.
And no BSB in my army.
No, although you could have benefited one of them a couple of times.
No, not really. What did I lose? Nothing.
That's an interesting point, actually, because unless you outright fail leadership with the general nearby, you're just going to get pushed back.
That's right.
So BSB is not quite what it used to be.
Oh no, it's still very important, but it's because when you do roll that 11 or something, but I didn't take it in this particular game.
Yeah.
Still.
I mean, the stuff you would have lost. I mean, you could have gotten rid of your bolt throwers and would have made a difference in this game.
Yeah, having said that, that's true. It's the bolt throwers, though. I think if you have a dragon or something, because I don't know what you were going to bring. I thought you might have a dragon or something big and nasty.
Well, I suppose I'm saying this on the basis that you rolled really badly with your bolt throwers, so it didn't do very much to the Hydras, whereas it could have, in theory, have bumped quite a few wounds off of it.
I could have taken a couple of wounds off, and all of a sudden, it's worth taking. But that's 150 points I could put somewhere else if I didn't.
Are those 50 points each?
They're 45. So it's 135 points for 3.
Right.
It's expensive, and yeah, I think they're worth it, but you don't want to go overboard with them. Three's probably the most.
I would think so.
Unless I was a dwarf player, but then I get other things like organ guns and.
Well, that's right, and I've got to buy more more dwarf stuff just to have a more viable list in the new normal.
Oh, yeah.
Choppers are a bit more of an issue than they used to be.
No, I wasn't worried at all. Like I just said, we're just having a test game and learning rules. So you've learned a lot about how units move and stuff.
Yeah.
The strategy phase, you've got to everyone that plays just go take a deep breath. Okay, what do we do this phase? Okay, rally. It's do rally cry, do special orders, your prayers or whatever, or your Khmer Kings or Empire prayers, and then you do your hexes and enchantments, and then you move to the rally phase.
Yep.
and then because you can have and then that's another thing you can battle standard bears I was talking about. You can rally. It gives you a reroll.
Okay.
With rally cry, I think it does.
Would make sense. All right. Well, that was
educational.
It was. I should have asked. What did we learn?
A lot. I learnt. Just take it. Just for now. I'm still learning the rules. That besides the wyvern wasn't a very over at the top list. It wasn't anything.
Yours? No, I thought the wyvern. I thought yours was quite sensible. The wyvern the wyvern smashed 2 units really.
The wyvern, but I've seen it's I think everyone you're in with a chance no matter what kind of list you're taking. That's my gut feeling. I
would agree, but that said, I haven't actually won a game of the old world yet. I've lost 3 in a row.
At this rate, you're not going to win whatever. Shut up, Sean. You bastard.
Oh, don't try your psychological warfare on me, you bastard.
But one day, we'll have to find you a 12-year-old to beat up. Anyway, that's.
It's quite plausible that I could have smashed you today with a couple of different dice rolls here and there.
No.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Challenge is on. Yeah, I think you need something with an armor save. Those guys aren't good to go head to head with.
Look, to be honest with you, I've never found witch elves to be good unless they got a ward save, and you need the cauldron for that, and you got to build your army around it.
So I would suggest that they would just be in a unit of 10, and for flankings, you need a block of something solid, stodgy and solid that can. What does spearmen do?
I wouldn't fill this list again. I don't actually have any spearmen. I'm not going to bother buying any more because this army's complete. What I would do differently is ditch the witch elves and take cold ones.
Yeah, but yes and no. The cold ones are fine, but you also then you don't outnumber. So you never outnumber anybody, and then you're in the same position where you've got 36 goblins going, just wait till the wyvern comes, and you're like, oh crap, you can't kill enough. The goblins are just piling in, and the next thing is 5 rounds later, the goblins, the tyrants eating, the wyverns eating everybody. Your dragons run off the table for some strange reason, and you go, cold ones, nom nom nom.
The fuck?
Goblins, are you holding the cold ones for me? Yes, master. Come.
Well, that is an interesting point though, because the only way I can outnumber a big horde of goblins is if I take a horde of infantry, which you can't really do with those. They cost fucking 11 points each.
Well, you had 3 big units, so you've doing stuff already. So it's working. You may want to look at just you don't have to have huge units, but you probably want 2 or 3 units. The frontage might be you want one a frontage of 5 instead of 6.
Well, that's an interesting point because I'm doing a frontage of that because I got 2 attacks per guy.
Yeah, but is it working?
That's that's to be determined, isn't it?
So look, those guys are probably good for flanking. Okay, I'm going to say this again. Good for flanking, not frontal assaults. So what's good for frontal assaults? Your cold ones because they got armor. But what do they need? What do cold ones need? They need someone to come up, sneak around the flank, and smack into someone's flank. And that's what these corsairs are for. So you take 2, 3 units of cold ones. Doesn't have to be big units. Maybe put a champion in them. And
so maybe
2 units of 8 because they're heavy cavalry.
They're heavy cav. So
yeah. So the way the army's going to be structured now is different to what it used to be.
Yeah. So we're finding.
I think additional hand weapons are great, but it's when you're finding stuff that has lower weapon skill and maybe lower strength than your toughness or equal.
I'm starting to think that multiple units of 10 melee, be they corsairs or witch elves, and more.
They're a support unit.
Yeah, throw in some shooters.
And you have some a chariot or 2 just to starve off people charging your stuff. Maybe a dragon, the big nasty dragon.
I'm starting to think these blocks of 24 are a bit redundant in the elf army.
maybe not. I mean, I think a unit, yeah, but 3 units of 10, that's fine.
Yeah.
And you can maybe put a standard in, maybe not. You don't have to. Can they shoot? Can they get the little handgun? These guys?
I do have a block of 10 with the shooters.
I just put 5 in each, and as long as it's got 5 guys in there with shooters, and put another 5.
Yeah,
in
I think the whole unit has to be
So-
that way, but it doesn't matter.
I think we'll let you pass. But 2 units of those on the flanks to keep people honest and to support your cold ones.
Yep.
Plus, your repeater bolt throws are good.
Yep. They're reliable as always. Look, I think I've got a lot of stuff in the Dark Elf army. I think I've got to try combos with more variety in smaller units.
Probably, yeah. The thing is, you can take the dragon and the hydras are great, and then that's another thing. So you take. But I think you probably need at least 2 units, maybe of. I would try 7 because the heavy cap. Put them in 4 wide. Put a character in the front. You've got 8 with a character, just a noble. It doesn't have to be a lord or anything. You can make it a lord if you're really keen, but make it a noble. 2 units of 8. And you've got fast cav, chariots, and infantry to come and back them up and whittle them down.
You know, it's an interesting thing because Corsairs were line infantry in 8th edition, but their law was always raiders. And you don't expect raiders to be running around like line infantry. I think we need to treat the raiders like raiders again. That's what it comes down to.
I think so. And it's the same with a lot of the armies. People are using troops like they're not using the troops right yet. They'll get to it, but I think that's one of the problems I see with people, how they use their troops. Or they don't use troops. Like, they won't take infantry because they want to use knights, because before you used to be able to smash your way through. Now, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've shown that to be the case. But anyway, hydras are good. Don't have to take 2, just take 1. And support, that's scary enough. And then if you get them in the right spot to flank, against wyverns, it's like, Jesus.
The wyvern's nasty, but you can see why a dragon hammer is a thing. I mean, I did have a list which had a dragon in it, and some cold ones, 7 cold ones, plus the rest of the army as much as it is. We sacrificed the level 4 mage to a level 2, and we had no witch elves, and that would have worked alright, but I think, again, if we put the Corsairs into 3 units instead of 2, then we have a more versatile army, and maybe get rid of a few of them, get some shooters.
And you can also use them as if they keep them cheap, so you don't give them anything. As a musician, if you really must. And you can use them if you need them to do redirect.
True. Mind you, 110 units redirect is a bit much, but I do have a Bloodrack Medusa that I can use for that.
But it saves you losing a massive combat where you've got 600 points on the line.
Well, true, but
there's the trade.
With small units, you can sacrifice them and counterattack them and so on. Look, it's requiring a rethink. So I did adjust. This is an unusual army for me to take, and I think the Hydra and rank and file, okay.
You can take Manticores.
Did work.
You don't have to take a big dragon. Manticores will do.
Well, I don't have one, but I do like the dragon though. I had some fun making that thing.
Well, you can take the dragon next time. I don't. I mean, I'll just.
I think
I can take. I'm not going to take this. I'll take different lists because I want to try different things out.
Well, I'll just roll the dice to see what I'm taking next time. I haven't fought the dwarves or the woodies against you yet, so it might be them.
The dwarves or the woodies. All right.
Well, maybe I'll have a look. I might fill these guys into a different configuration because this battle has very much highlighted that the Dark Elves can be very effective still, but got to configure some things a little differently. On that note, I think I better go and have some family time. It's the public holiday. Time to call it a day.